All right. Welcome. If you're coming in, let me know who you are, where you're from, and we're gonna wait just a few minutes, and then we're gonna to let everybody in, and then we're gonna get started. All right. I hope you guys are having a good day. It's Tuesday. Um, Usually go live on Tuesday, so this um, feels a little weird, but this is gonna be great. Hey, Jennifer, Kathleen, Tamara, Shauna, Debbie, welcome you guys. Oh, I'm so excited about this project. I can hardly wait to tell you about it. Hey, Claudia. Oh, we are having another cool day. It's 46 out there. We've had cool and rain. It rained through shearing on Saturday, but all the sheep were dry and in the barn, so got that done. All right. Arizona, Pennsylvania. Hey, Margot. Oh, chocolate chip cookies. Um, my daughter is starting a new job next Monday, and she was doing her onboarding packet, and they asked her what her favorite treat was. So then we had a whole conversation, the three of us, about what our favorite treats were. And every time I'd say something, she'd say, "Well, what about this?" And I couldn't make up my mind. Oh, but I love chocolate chip cookies. I like them really crispy, and then to dunk them in. Well, I can't drink milk anymore, but some kind of plant milk. All right. Yeah. Did she bring any cookies for us? I used to belong to this. It was not like it wasn't really a precursor to WAFA, but it was a fiber group, and we would come on. I think we'd meet once a month or something like that. And the first thing you posted is like what tea or whatever you had in your hand and what you brought for the potluck. And I mean, it was online, but it was really fun. Hey, Catherine. All right, it's about almost 5 minutes after, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So I am so excited. I have wanted to do this. Okay, I hope the dogs don't bark. I have wanted to do this for a long time on my own, but I'm really excited to do it with you all. I think this is going to be fun and challenging, and we're going to learn a lot. Hey, Kristen. Uh, so I'm really excited. I want to start out. I'm going to talk about how it's going to work, but I want to start out by saying, um, oh, nice, Tamara. That, I don't have an expectation about commitment. You can jump in, you can jump out, you can watch, you can participate, you can converse, you can listen. However, you want to be a part of this, I want you to be a part of it. Beginners, intermediate, advanced, it doesn't matter. I really want people to be involved in this. And I am going to be blogging about this. And I don't blog regularly, but I'm hoping this will help me blog monthly about my experiences. And I might ask for photos of yarns or processes if you're interested in sharing that on my blog. Okay, so I thought a lot about how to organize this, and I ran into some roadblocks and couldn't figure out quite what to do. And Jean Rosas, who is a little under the weather, and I think she's not joining us this afternoon, reached out and asked if she could help me in any way. So she and I got together, and it was a great sounding board conversation about how this might work logistically. And so here's what we came up with. And there's actually, doesn't may not look like it, but there is some strategy to this. So today's meeting kind of is kind of a standalone on Tuesday. Um, so we're kicking off today. I'm going to talk a little bit about chapter one, which we're not in the project going to spend a lot of time, but I want to encourage you, if you have the book, to look at those things. And I'll pull some things out. So if you don't have the book, you can think about those things or do some Googling or YouTubing about that stuff. Hey, Kitty. Oh, Jean, I'm so glad that you're feeling a little better and are here. Um, the conversation that Jean and I had was it was so helpful, and we have great conversations anyway, and we could talk forever, but it was really nice to kind of talk about my strategy. Okay, so the next thing that will happen after today, yeah, check and see if you have the book. And this, okay, I'm gonna have to let Nell out here, I think, although I think Toot left the gate open when she left. I might have to bring her in here. So the first like 3 weeks here are really just to get you started. If you don't have the book and you want it, you've got time to order it. If if you want to review chapter one and some of those real basics, there's time to do that. So some of this might feel a little slow going. Some of it's going to feel like there isn't enough time, but we're going to stick to the schedule and do. Okay, I'm just going to bring her in here. Otherwise, she's just going to bark the whole time. I'm sorry about that. Oh, yeah. Okay. You want to come and see who I'm talking to? Come on. Move it. Move it. See, there's nobody here, but I'm talking to the screen. Come on in. Okay. All right. Okay. So the first week, or so for the first couple 3 weeks, hi now. The first 3 weeks are gonna be, no Murray. You can't have all three in here. The two boys don't get along. Okay. So our first kind of real the next thing, not the real thing, the next thing that's going to happen is on the 18th of April, we're going to kick off chapter two. And chapter two is spinning, I think it's standalone singles. Yeah. Nope. Chapter two is singles for plying. And I wasn't going to include that in the project, but then I went back and kind of read at the first couple of chapters. And I thought there was some great information in there about spinning fat singles that I hadn't thought about. And, often we get into that when we spin, we have a default. And sometimes that changes over, your adventure with spinning. But there is that default, and sometimes it's hard to not spin the default. So there was some good information in there. So on the 18th of April, we'll kick off chapter, the two of you. We'll kick off chapter two. That will be, okay, that's not good. Come here, Tuck. That was like I was looking at you and interested in you in more than just a friendly way, and we are not having puppies right now. So that Friday. So I usually go live on Friday. I'm coordinating a chunk of this on Fridays. It'll happen at 5 my time, which is Mountain, 7 nope, I think we're going to do chapter 2. I have it written down on my calendar as chapter 2, Jean. Okay, so we're going to kick off. I may read a little from the book. I may pluck some things out of it. Some of the chapters, as we get on into the book, have lots of yarns to choose from, and I might talk about what I'm going to pick, or we'll chat about some things. Those will be Hey, Ellen. Those will be Facebook Lives. Then, either 2.5 or 3 weeks, depending upon how many weeks between kickoff and show and tell, there will be a dedicated post. It happens either on a Wednesday or a Friday. There was a plan. So the next thing, the next thing in April will happen on the 30th. That's a week and a half after the kickoff. There'll be a dedicated post, and Gina and I are working on graphics in Canva that will be recognizable. They're going to be the same through this whole thing, and we've got this planned out through December. So we've got a month for each one. It'll be 9 months. But again, come in, come out, however you want to do that. So that'll be that dedicated post. I would love for people at that point to share where they're at. You can show us a picture of what you're blending for, what's on the wheel. Whatever step you are in the process, show us what that is. And I will be doing some of the posting, and Jean will be doing some of the posting, but the graphics will be recognizable so you know it's a part of this project. Then show and tell for chapter 2. I'm not going to go through all the dates. I will make a graphic and do all the dates, and Jean and I are working on getting events up for everything. So don't feel like you have to write this all down. But the show and tell for chapter 2 will be on the 9th. And the show and tells will be a Zoom. So we're kind of doing a hybrid of a lot of different things. There's a live, there's a post, and then there'll be a Zoom. And at the show and tell, everybody will get like 5 minutes to share 5, 3, whatever, probably not more than 5 minutes, depending on how many people we have, to show what they've done, share a little bit about their experience. We'll just have a little conversation about that. And then the next week is the next chapter kickoff. So the 16th. In May, it's the 16th. So I did that strategically because I thought if folks were looking ahead to that next chapter and they had a fiber in mind and it wasn't in their stash, or they wanted to try something new, I wanted to give you time to plan, or if you're a vendor, to plan for that next. I mean, you can look ahead in the book, but I wanted people to, kind of think about if they wanted to purchase. Of course, I want to encourage you to support the WAFA vendors. So that gives you a week between show and tell. Well, show and tell, the chapter kickoff, and then that next week will be the show, the festival. And we're doing it through the summer, even in the month that we don't have one, and the raw fleece sale. So there is there's a schedule to each one of those. But the orienting date for me was kicking off the next chapter the week before the festival. So sometimes that's 4 weeks. Sometimes it's 3 weeks. And so I shot for the middle between the kickoff and the show and tell for that post, which is why it moves from Wednesday to Friday. So this is a lot of detail, but it made good sense to us. So I'll post a graphic with all of those dates. We'll put events up, and because Jean is helping me with this, more than likely you'll see the events, before the day of the event, which is, ADHD brain and all that. So that's the plan for that. I picked a hashtag Chat GPT helped me out. There were lots of choices. But I went through the hashtags and I searched them in both Instagram and Facebook. So we're going to use intentional twist, lowercase, all, run together, for our hashtag. It was, there weren't any accounts, and only one hit on hashtag in Instagram, and maybe nothing on Facebook. So I wanted something that was really unique that wouldn't be catching lots of other things. So I'm going to encourage you to post throughout the month, if you want to share, and use that hashtag so we can search and kind of look and see what's out there. Yep, thanks, Jean. Um, the events will be in WAFA. Yes, I will post an event for each one. The live kickoffs will be Facebook Lives. The show and tells, there'll be an event with the Zoom link. They'll be on Zoom, but the events will all be in WAFA. Okay, so I talked about hashtag. And so, we'll hashtag that big post that's happening in the middle that way. Okay, so I think that's, if you've got questions about the schedule, you can post a question here, or you can shoot an email or something in Messenger to Jean or myself, and we will help you out. I haven't decided exactly where all this is going to land, but because Facebook is only holding on to things for 30 days, both and not everybody, that schedule isn't going to work for everybody to come. So both the Zoom and the live will end up somewhere on a YouTube channel. So so you can catch up if you missed it. You can, if somebody said something that you thought, oh, that was great, but you didn't write it down, you can go back and look at it. I'm not going to do a lot of editing. That's what's slowing me down with those Fiberside chats. I'm a year behind on those, and I don't want that to happen with this. So, I might not edit them at all, or I might do, a front page that like a thumbnail that's recognizable, because I want people to be able to find it, and then we'll post all that information, so that everybody will know what that is. I don't want things to be hidden. I don't want you to have a hard time finding it. And I want it to be preserved for us. Okay, so I want to just briefly talk about a few things, and my guess, as I was kind of looking at who was coming in, I think that most of you have done some spinning. I found, I am not like Toot and her family don't read directions, but details aren't my thing. So, I have picked through the first chapter. It's got some good information in it. If the book is new to you, I would look through it. I found the Z and S twist information very valuable. I knew those things, but it was really a good refresher for me. I am not a technical spinner. Part of the reason this is called the Intentional Spinning Project is because I do not think of myself as an intentional spinner. I haven't, I'm going to do a coil. I sit down and I'm going to do, but I don't have specific expectations for yarn. This is childhood junk, I'm sure, but if I don't have expectations, then I'm not disappointed. So this is gonna be a whole kind of mental challenge for me, and I'm excited about it. I'm ready for it. So I would look at the Z and S twist information. I thought that was good. She talks about different kinds of fiber in fleece. She talks about worsted and woolen. And I thought, again, that was really good refresher information, or it may be new information. So I would look at that information too. She talks about preparing fleece and things like that. And then chapter 1 is on spinning spinning basics. So yeah, so that's the Z and the S twist. Maybe that's not the one with the, yeah, so anyway, a good refresher. Then we're going to kick off chapter 2. So that will be the first real chapter that we're going to study together. This one is kind of a self-study, getting ready. So chapter 2 is singles for plying, and that's where the information, 58, let me get there. That's where the information about spinning thin singles and thick singles was. And she talks about how spinning, if you have a hard time spinning that thick single, that spinning a slub yarn where it's intentionally thick and then thin is a great way to get there. And that like blew my mind. And I have some fiber that really wants to be thick and thin, and I thought, oh, that's what I'm going to practice on, because it takes some work to make that particular roving consistent. So we will get to that, but I thought that so much of the book is based on plying different kinds of singles together. I thought that it made sense to spend a month spinning singles. Love it or hate it. And I'm excited about spinning thick singles. So that's what's gonna happen in 3 weeks. We're gonna do that one. All right, let me kind of catch up. I've been yammering on here. So let me, hey Jay. I am so with you, Kitty. I'm such a self-taught spinner. And I think everybody learns in a different way. It was very valuable for me to do that. I started with Navajo Churro sheep and learned to spin on that fiber. And a really old but well-preserved Polwarth fleece that my mother bought during her midlife crisis. So this isn't about perfection. This is about the process and the experience, and I think I plan to surprise myself along the way, because there are some things I'm gonna in here, like pigtail yarn and beads and boucle, and some things I'm excited about challenging myself. Rarely a plan, right? Rarely a plan. And I draft in a hybrid, partly forward, partly backward, all that stuff. So, I'm excited about doing some intentional things. I don't expect perfection. I expect to have fun and learn. And I'm going to learn something about myself and things that I don't like and things that I do. So I think that's it. I think this is going to be so much fun. I can hardly wait to get started. If you've got, questions, if you have an aha in the next 3 weeks, post that, puts the hashtag. I'm just so excited to be doing this with you guys. So, got a question? Shoot me a note. The next thing is April 18th, which is a Friday, right? Oh, May here. I even did it on a big calendar. Yeah, April 18th, which is a Friday. I'll be back at 7 Eastern, and we'll be kicking off that second chapter and doing that single work in the next one. All right, you guys, this is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited for us all to be along the ride together. I hope that you have a wonderful week and weekend. We are headed out to a wedding this weekend, leaving tomorrow. So uh, I'll be posting from the road. Okay, all right. I will see you guys on the 18th. Thanks so much. Hi, Missy. Did you wonder who I was talking to?